YouTube, Louie here, and welcome to the weekend. It has been a really interesting week, and you know what I love about stacking and YouTube is there is always something to talk about in my personal journey of stacking silver and gold and platinum. For going on 10 years here. So here is the latest thing I have done with my stack. I've sold. Now, don't get excited. I didn't sell it all. I didn't sell half of it. I only sold about, well, less than 5% of my silver. But there was a good reason that I did so. And if you watch my videos, you'll know, what I'm up to even before I do it. So let's get on with this story. Okay, it starts with me taking a look and monitoring the gold silver ratio. All right, so let's find the gold silver ratio. And here we are. Here's the price of silver. We could start there. Now, as you know, we've had a remarkable run in silver. For people that say, silver never does anything. Well, my God, guys, it just moved from 18 to 24 and change, and that is substantial. But the other thing about silver is that it is very volatile, and what goes up often comes back down. And that is why I like to watch the gold to silver ratio. So here it is, the gold to silver ratio, and this is over the last month. And I think I've been telling you for a week or two that now that we're back down from 95, in recent history, 95 is where we were, down to 75, I was thinking about trading out some silver for gold. Okay, and I do think that gold is the better buy here, although silver is certainly showing momentum and could go higher. It's trading at the moment, it's trading differently than it has ever traded in my recent recollection. It's almost like it's organically trading as opposed to being suppressed because, the smackdowns would come just like they were orchestrated every time that silver made a decent move. And then the dollar would show a little bit of strength, and bam, silver would get knocked down 50 cents, a dollar, $2, almost like clockwork. You could almost trade it because it was that predictable that it was going to happen. And I will say that recently silver has really got some momentum behind it. People are definitely buying. All right. However, when you watch that gold to silver ratio, silver has now become, at least in the recent term, silver has become overvalued in relation to gold. Okay, so gold divided by silver spot price, that gives you the gold to silver ratio. And I had said a week or two ago, down in the 75s, I wanted to trade out. This video is about how I sold a pretty large volume of silver, again, only a fraction of my stack, to take advantage of that relationship. But something happened in between here and there, and that is that my daughter decided to leave California. She just can't make it here. The costs are too high, the rents are too high, and she just had to get out of mom and dad's granny flat and go make her own way. She decided to move to Oregon, and that is what she did, and she needed to buy a house. All right, so what I'm doing instead of converting this back to gold is I'm using it to help her with a down payment on what I would call the smallest house in Oregon. But still, the mortgage payment will be probably half of what a rental payment would be in this particular small city in Oregon. So I wound up doing this sale, about $8,000 in total, to help her with a down payment. And what I love about silver and gold and platinum and all precious metals is, they're so fungible. And I think the thing, you may not want to sell any silver. You may not want to trade the gold to silver ratio like I do because, I want to maximize. I have a volume or a turnover in my stack, and I use silver to be able to maximize really my gold stack. I think the end game has been and always will be gold, but silver has such volatility and potential on the upside that I think silver is going to give you some added appreciation value as you move forward in whatever you want to do, you know. And silver is certainly a very versatile metal and very saleable. So what this video is going to be about, and this is also why I sold an ounce of platinum and I sold an ounce of gold, although I really didn't want to sell the gold. But, I got more for it than I paid for it. And what I'm trying to do is limit the amount of money I have to draw from my Roth IRA. All right, I have money in a 401k and a self-directed traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, and I know many of you do as well. I don't have all my money in precious metals. I don't believe in that, but I have a, substantial stack. But in my traditional retirement account, which I will need very soon because I retire in 71 weeks, I will need, that Roth IRA. It grows tax-free. You take it out tax-free, and it can help you to minimize your income taxes once you retire. So I really didn't want to drain this money out of the Roth IRA, although I did take a little to round up, this down payment. So that is why I decided to sell. And who did I sell to? I sold to JM Bullion. All right, and I give them a lot of shit for being part of the A-Mark Borg. But I got to tell you, this was one of the easiest sales I have ever made. My package should be there from now. So if you want to know how to liquidate your silver or gold or platinum, I'll show you what I did and how I walked through it. And it's kind of a no stress situation. What I do like is they have a sell to us part of their website. All the prices are right on the website. You click sell to us online, and here we go. This is what they're buying, and all the prices are right there. What I did was I watched the spot price of silver, and when it peaked up at about 24 and a quarter, I think it was, I caught the top of the recent move. Hey, it could be 25 or 26 tomorrow, and I'll kick myself. But like I said, 18 to 24, pretty good move, and I don't mind using the muscle in my stack here to accomplish some personal goals for me and my family. So what I did was I went in and I checked out, mostly I was selling silver, and what I wanted to sell was some kookaburras. Okay, here they are. Now, they are buying kooks. Well, when I sold mine, they were closer to $31, but or maybe $30.50. But they're selling any kind of random kookaburra. You saw as I paged through the items that I sold, you saw that I had some kooks. And not that I couldn't sell these on eBay one at a time for $33, $34, but there's the 10% fees. There's people are paying sales tax on that. And then there's the dreaded 1099. Everything you sell on eBay is going to generate a 1099, and my basis in these kooks is probably, they always carried a bit of a premium. They were often $5 over spot, $4 over spot. But, a lot of these kooks I picked up at 22. So getting 31 and not, having to generate a 1099 for obvious reasons, and not having to, not having to incur the hassle of selling, I sold 40 of these. All right, and I think that's a really decent buy price on the kooks. Actually, a little surprising to me that kooks are doing so well. The other thing I had was some maples, and I would have kept these maples, but here is what I sold. And the problem with the 50 maples, is that the maple leaves that I bought were the Privy maples, and the Privy maples just don't sell on eBay. Yes, you could get better than $26 for maples, but the Privy maples are such a small collector audience, and I probably held on to these for too long or forgot I had them. You know how that goes. That I decided to liquidate these 50 goat privy maples. JM Bullion can worry about selling them one by one. They might get $40. I don't know, but I wish them good luck in that. I want something more generic. The name of the game here is on these one-off silver coins. Just be careful if you get too many, because you're not going to be able to sell them a roll at a time. Now, you might say, well, why didn't you do a peer-to-peer sale? Well, these peer-to-peer sales, I believe, are going to come back on everybody. If you're selling on Instagram, if you're doing Zelle, transfers and PayPal transfers, and I have the benefit of being credible in that I've been on YouTube so long that I think people know they can trust me. But oftentimes, you're dealing with people that you really don't know anything about. And I do believe that a lot of these transactions, unless you are meeting at a local bank and you're handing silver or gold for stacks of cash, I think a lot of these transactions are forensically going to be researched by our government, and I think 1099s are going to come out possibly retroactively. What I want is I want a bulletproof retirement that nobody's going to come back on me later and say you owe the government, $7,000 for all the PayPal or Zelle sales that you did. And there's also a fee, if you sell peer to peer on PayPal. Instagram, people are doing Zelle, and hey, that may work out fine. That's not for me, but anyway, that's why I'm selling through formal channels. Now, like I said about JM Bullion, they had decent prices. Let me show you what else I sold before I go through how you have to do this if you want to do it. Another thing I sold was an Engelhard bar. Okay, so people say, oh, it's right here. People say, generally stay away from 100-ounce bars. They're hard to sell. Well, this bar, which I recently bought, and it wasn't exactly this bar, but was bringing 2006.70, or 2006.50 when spot was a little bit higher. And I had recently bought one for 22 an ounce. I'll show you that video in a little bit when I pause. I bought what I thought was going to be one of these, and it turned out to be a cast bar that was much more valuable. So I dug this old extruded bar out of my stack, and I sold this. And so I paid $22 an ounce for the recent purchase, and basically upgraded my Engelhard 100-ounce bar collection to that, and let go of this more common extruded bar at 2006.22. And I also sold a couple of Libertads. They had a decent price on those. Because Engelhard prices, because Libertad prices are high, I'm liquidating all my Libertads. I don't collect them any longer unless I can get a really smoking deal on them. Let's see. I also sold some platinum. Platinum. Oh, I got to be in the platinum category. Now, this Noble that I sold, here it is. I purchased, and platinum made a big move on Friday. It might even be higher than it was when I sold by a little bit, but it was well over $1,000 when I sold. And this platinum Noble is going for $1,083 today. And I picked up one of these, boy, not that long ago, maybe a year ago, for $800. And, I don't have any strong desire to collect platinum. I think platinum is actually going to be an obsoleted metal at some point. and but it certainly is a strong cousin to gold, and maybe it's going up for industrial demand purposes, or maybe it's going up because gold is showing some strength. But again, I'm kind of on the fence with platinum. I don't want a giant platinum stack anyway, so I let the platinum go. And finally, the last thing I sold was a little bit of gold to get myself up to $8,000 because I was running out of silver that I didn't mind selling. These were the things. Some things I wanted to get rid of. Some things I wanted to capitalize on. And so the gold that I sold. Also, a happy story was one of these 1 ounce varied condition in assay. I tell you guys, these things are completely fungible. I would not be afraid of them as long as you can be guaranteed of authenticity. I had an Asahi, which is kind of Asahi and Credit Suisse. That's kind of the bottom of the range for these bars. I couldn't tell you exactly why, but I recently got one at Spot, which was, hell, what was it, in the 1600s recently? In the gold at Spot deal that I told you guys about, and they gave me a Perth bar. Well, I didn't sell that because that's an upgrade. I sold the Asahi bar that I have, which I think I showed you a picture of, and that was well over 1800 when I sold that. So just recently there's a profit on this, but I do think gold is going higher. And if I had my druthers, I would not have sold any gold. Okay, let's go through how you do this. Let's start with first. You have to select what you're going to sell. You have to log in, select what you're going to sell, select how many of them you're going to sell. Okay, right? And then you will add to cart. All right, so just you want to sell 20 Silver Eagles. You're logged in, you put in 20, you add to cart. All right, you keep going. You want to sell something else, 100-ounce bar. Click 1, add to cart. When you're done assembling your cart, then you click checkout. At the point you click checkout, you have 10 minutes to complete the sale, and they will show you exactly how much you've sold to them. Now that is not how much you're going to get. All right, because there is going to be a fee if they send you a label for a FedEx package. The label for the FedEx package is going to come at a cost, but keep in mind this label will be a fully insured label. All right, and that's very important if you're, selling $8,000 worth of metals that you want it to be insured. And you can't really insure precious metals through normal channels if you're sending, through normal channels, unless you go into the, what is it? There's insured. That doesn't work because they don't cover precious metals. And then there is a signature receipt. That doesn't help you. You get up to the registered category. No, you get up to the certified category. I don't believe that covers precious metals. I believe you have to sell registered, and I hope I'm not having a brain fart here, but I believe it is registered mail, which it has its own bag of worms. It's costly, and it takes weeks to arrive at its destination. Or you can just buy their self-insured, their insured FedEx label and pay the price. What were the fees? I believe they were about 1.5% of the total transaction deducted from my sale amount for that insured FedEx label. Now it goes a little further than that. You have to ship this in a certain way, which was not hard, but they say you'll void your insurance if you don't do it. You have to put it in a new shipping box. You have to pack it tightly so it doesn't move around. You have to then put that brand new shipping box into a separate shipping box. I bought mine at Staples, for a couple bucks. And then also pack that tightly, seal that. There's a label that goes on the inner box in case it's lost. There's a label, the insured label, that goes on the outer box Tape that up, tight as you possibly can. And then you go to FedEx, you check it in and get a deposit receipt. If you don't get the deposit receipt, if you drop it off at the local UPS store, something like that, your insurance is voided. Get the deposit receipt, hand it to the nice person at FedEx, and off it goes. I believe my package arrived yesterday. And that is it. They will then link to your bank account. I think they could also do a cashier's check, but that's going to be $25. They will link to your bank account, and they will almost immediately, once they've reviewed the contents of your package, they will deposit into your account. In my case, $8,000. That is how that went, and that is what I did and how I did it. It is my first sale ever to JM Bullion, and I've sold some stuff, some collector coins that I was flipping to some other outfits, but never to JM Bullion. I really like the fact that you can monitor the buy prices, you can monitor the spot price. When it's right where you want it, you can click sell, and then, if silver gets smacked back down, JM Bullion takes the loss, right? I'm locked in just the same way that I'm locked in when I buy something. Of course, I never buy from JM Bullion because their prices are high. Their spot price is fictitious to some extent. They're part of the A-Mark Borg, which I think we should boycott. But I'm not so set in my ways that I can't take advantage of what I think is a decent selling mechanism here. And I think to really get the maximum benefit out of your metals, I think you ought to move your metals around at select times. If you have a small stack, this won't mean anything to you, but as your stack grows, the ability to sell silver at 75 GSR, and then buy it back at 95 GSR, and if the goal is to increase your gold stack, that's very powerful. Or if you have something that is really you didn't expect, like in this case, the purchase of a little house, then you can use these metals to fund what you need without going through and taking penalties, cashing out CDs, taking distributions, paying income tax on 401ks or IRAs, or disrupting an investment that you really believe in. So that is how that worked. I hope that was a good information for you guys. Again, I've never done this before, but it was far less scary than I thought it would be. The prices were higher than I thought they would be, partly because spot price is higher. But if you've got odds and ends hanging around, and this is more for bullion, not so much for collector coins or germanium mint, one-off items or exotic gold pieces, etc. This is more for your standard bullion. But if you've got some stuff you want to move out of your stack and then possibly wait for lower prices and jump back on $1.65 over spot, kilos, or well, hell, there were Geiger bars for sale recently for $2.35 over spot. I think they still are available. I'll put that link. Use the timing and the volatility in the market to move your stack around. And my advice would be keep your stack as generic as you can. Of course, you can have eagles and you can have, things that you really believe in. But keep your silver stack as generic as you can, as close to spot as you can, and then it's really easy to move it around without taking a hit, or going to an LCS and hearing their song and dance about whatever they're paying. Some are paying better than others. Certain parts of the country, I think they prey on stackers. Other parts of the country, there's maybe more sophisticated buyers and sellers. And then Well, I won't go on and on about that, but you get it, and that's really what I wanted to show you this weekend. I hope that you're enjoying the strength in silver and gold. Um, I'm not going to do market commentary, but I think silver has some muscle right here. I have been expecting the dollar to strengthen. And I still think that will happen. If you're expecting the dollar to continue to go down, then you probably would expect silver to continue to go up. But as we move closer to recession, I think everything's going to be going down. But possibly not gold. I think gold has got some strength here. But I think silver has got the industrial baggage, and recession is looming. The stock market will soon be, the Dow will be under $30,000 again and probably headed lower. And I do think there's some really, really negative stories that are going to hit us in 2023. Will that be positive for silver? Possibly we're in a new range here of, 24 to 28. I don't know. Will that be negative for silver? It could. The GSR 75, and it could easily move back to 95. But, if the long bond starts to taper off and move lower, which it has, that should provide a tailwind for gold, right? So I do think this ratio could reverse from 75 back to 95. Silver is strong right now. If you're thinking about selling or need the money and you want to sell a small portion of your stack, hey, go for it. That's what I did. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. This is Louis signing out. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks, everybody.